Good evening, everyone. I am Angela Gegg, and you're watching Influential Dubai. We're broadcasting from the VMC TV studios right here in the United Arab Emirates. Having a media platform gives me a personal responsibility to use my voice and give back to society. I use my voice to send messages to my viewers, and I give back to society by inviting successful entrepreneurs, remarkable individuals, businesses, celebrities, artists, and entertainers onto the show. And today is no exception, as I'm joined in the studios with one of the co-founders of the Arts DAO, the largest Web3 community in the MENA region. Danish Zahadi is here with us today, and he's going to be talking to us about the Arts DAO Festival. Danish, welcome to the studios.
Thank you so much, Angela. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure having you here with us today.
Thank you so much.
I see you're repping with the Arts DAO hats.
Of course, everywhere.
Everywhere. And I actually have one, Baby Yoda, next to me as well. Next to me, I love it. So Danish, what we're going to do obviously is talk about Arts DAO, talk about the festival. But before we do that, I like my viewers, my audience, to get to know the man on the chair. Tell us a little bit about you, your humble beginnings, and where you are now.
So my name is Danish. I grew up in Sweden. And I basically left Sweden when I was 18 years old. I was tired of it and wanted to try out something new, wanted to, fly out. So I left to London and I studied in London for a few years. And I graduated during the financial crisis, which was the worst time to graduate. So I went back, did a master's degree in Sweden, found a job. And from there on, I was working a few years and I was always very entrepreneurial. So I started my first company when I was 17.
Wow.
And I decided that, I'm tired of corporate life because I worked a few years for Procter & Gamble back in Sweden and decided to try something new. So I set up a small business with a friend, did that for a few years, didn't work out the way we had planned. We were quite young and inexperienced, got back into the corporate race. And luckily, I was fortunate to travel around the world with that company. So I spent some time in Belgium, in the US, and then finally ended up in Dubai. And in the last 4 years, I've been running another company prior to Arts DAO called Arami Group, which I set up. It's a trading business. We trade with industrial equipment. It's quite boring if you compare it to Arts DAO. And Arts DAO, the passion for Arts DAO came from, me obviously investing in crypto for quite some time. And I met with the co-founder Anas. And we had this shared interest and passion about cryptocurrencies. And I met with him early 2021 at the tequila tasting.
Oh, nice! Tequila tasting!
So obviously we hit it off quite well and talked about everything, regarding cryptocurrencies. And I decided at some point, because I had some ideas that I wanted to start a podcast. And I told Anas, why don't we start a podcast where we educate people about crypto and NFTs? And back then, he was working also for a corporate company, checkout.com. And he was quite hesitant to leave his safe and really good job, but I kind of forced him out of it. So we started the Crypto Shakes podcast together. And then on top of that, we started to build Arts DAO.
Right. I remember the Crypto Shakes podcast.
Yeah.
That's when actually we were introduced to you the first time. It was in mid of 2021. That's when we first met. I remember you guys were doing this Crypto Shakes podcast.
Yeah.
And from then, now we're in 2023, less than 2 years, you've done so much from the podcast to now full operational Arts DAO.
Yes.
But for those of us watching who don't know what Arts DAO is, because I obviously know it, you know it, but for everybody watching, why don't you tell us a little bit about Arts DAO?
Sure. So Arts DAO started out as a small community. In fact, as part of the podcast, we started to interview some artists in the NFT space, like Christelle, like Amrita. And we did that because we wanted to learn more about NFTs ourselves, because it was quite new to us. And by doing that, we slowly started to also reach out to other people in the same space. And we had our first meetup at Christelle's studio. And we were 10 people back then. And we thought, oh my God, we found every single person in the whole NFT space in Dubai. And we were so happy. And this was September 2021. 2 weeks later, we had 30 people. A month later, we did a big event for more than 100 people at the Arts Club. And from there on, the whole idea to start a business kind of took a backseater because we didn't really know what business to start. And in a way, the community that we started to build, the community became our business and our child. We had to now take care of all these people that were in this community, and it just exponentially grew. And today we're almost around 1,000 people, and we do regular events, weekly meetups. We've done some events with Gary Vee. We've done events with big NFT projects like Doodles, Artifact, and now we're looking to kind of really take over the scene in the Middle East and really solidify us being the kind of the main NFT community out here. So we're looking to do something called the Arts DAO Fest, which is just around the corner on the 11th of March.
Okay.
And we have some really big plans for the rest of the year as well.
So Arts DAO Festival. Before we talk about the festival, what exactly is a DAO?
That's a great question. It's a very new concept. And DAO basically stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization, which means that the members of the community, for example, it can be structured around the community, which it is in this case. For example, if we have a pool of funds together in the treasury, we can decide that the community decides on where to allocate and spend those funds. We don't do it. In the traditional world, you have a central kind of board of directors and the employees do as they are told, right? But in a DAO, it's more decentralized. So in a DAO, the decision making is done by, if you want to call them the employees, or by the community members. And those decisions are all done on the blockchain. So it's transparent, everyone can see what everyone has voted, it's secure, and you can just make a vote from your phone, basically.
Okay. Is there any criteria for somebody to, let's say, become a part of this DAO or this, have this membership?
So all DAOs operate differently, right?
Okay.
And they have different entry points. So for us, the entry point to become a member is to own one of our NFTs, which is called Eternal Gates. So once you hold that NFT, you automatically become a member of the community. You get access to our WhatsApp group, you get access to our private channels on Discord, and you get access to all our private events as well.
Okay. All right. So all they have to do is just mint an NFT?
Correct. It's right now, they're already minted the tokens. So now they are on a secondary market called OpenSea. So anyone can go onto OpenSea.io and search for Eternal Gates, and they will find it.
Okay. So some of the members are actually selling? Or is that because maybe they bought more than one?
Some members bought more than one, and some people always need some liquidity.
True.
And sometimes people want to put their money elsewhere. But what we are seeing is that we have a steady growth of number of users day by day. Okay.
I like the sounds of that. Any more in the future? Let's say if your group has capped it, how many NFTs are produced?
So we have a total of 1,450 NFTs.
Okay.
That's going to be the total maximum ever.
So you won't do a second round or anything?
We might do it, but it's not going to have the same benefits that the current collection has.
Okay.
So right now we only have 725 members. When I say only, that's 50% of the total supply.
Right, and a lot of people actually own more than one.
A lot of people own more than one.
Myself included.
Yes, and myself too.
Well, yes, of course. But what I'm saying is some of us would get more than one.
So, which is why I believe that once we start reaching like 1,000 people, the supply on the secondary market is going to be very, very restricted.
Absolutely.
And that's going to automatically influence the price.
Very, very cool. I love it. I love the whole Web3, modern world that we've embarked on. I know not everybody gets it, but I personally think it's really cool. What is your take on like the Web3 space in general?
Web3 is such a broad term, and I want to just break down the term first. So Web3, basically in Web 1, that was the first web with the internet. When internet came along, that was Web 1. You could go online and go onto pages, go onto search engines and find the content that you were looking for. In Web 2, you kind of became part of the content creation. So when Facebook came along, that was Web 2. When Instagram, TikTok, all the social medias, they're Web 2, where you as a user can generate content on those platforms. In Web 3, it's all about decentralization, where you as a user, let's say if you would be part of a social media platform that is Web3 based, you would be an owner of that platform, not just a creator.
Right.
So, for example, Facebook today, they own all the data. But in Web3, you are the owner of that data.
Right.
And the beauty of this is that it decentralizes a lot of different types of industries, from finance, from art with NFTs. So you have all these new kind of industry is being revolutionized by Web3.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So the Web3 space, how does that really affect art? Like when you have an art in a gallery, obviously you can buy that physical piece of art, but on a Web3, tell us how art is really affected by Web3.
That's a great question. So art is actually really affected by this. And now I see more and more galleries are catching interest for NFTs and want to explore it. A lot of artists are exploring NFTs because traditionally for an artist to showcase their art, they would have to go through galleries. They would have to really build up their reputation, and you're kind of at the mercy of these galleries to kind of show your art. With Web3, because it's decentralized, you don't have this central institution in between you and the buyers that dictate what you can and cannot do. So you as an artist, first of all, you can create your own community online through Twitter or Instagram. And if people like your art, they can directly buy it from you. Yes, in the traditional world, you can do that as well, but it's more easy to get visibility in the Web3 space because you have a very strong community around it. The second thing is that you as an artist, you can earn royalties.
Okay.
So you can decide if you want to earn 5% for the rest of your life whenever someone resells your piece of art. In the traditional world, it's more difficult to manage that.
Right, absolutely.
So those are kind of some of the benefits. And if I'm an art collector, I want to know that, let's say I buy Angela's piece of art, by someone else who has owned that in the past. The provenance is difficult to prove and the authenticity, and that's something that the blockchain helps.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But tell me quickly, why do people out there often say NFTs are a rich man's game? I hear this so often. Even last night I was on Twitter and there was a spaces up, NFTs are a rich man's game. People say it quite often. Why do people say this?
I think there's a few reasons. One is people don't understand the space, and they only see these big projects like the CryptoPunks, the Bored Apes, and some of the blue chip NFT projects that have a higher ticket price. And they think that, all NFTs are like that. That's not true. You can buy a really nice piece of art from a local artist for $100.
Okay.
And that way you can also support that artist to actually become famous down the line. And the more that artist, the more famous that artist becomes, automatically it will also affect you directly because your piece will increase in value.
Oh, that's good. That's a good way to look at it, actually.
But also there's a lot of terminology, right? So people don't understand the space, and because they don't understand it, they don't really want to touch it, and they think it's only for the rich people.
Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Plus, maybe some people are intimidated by setting up your MetaMask and doing all these things.
Exactly.
A lot of people, especially the not so computer literate kind of folk.
I mean, the fact is, it can seem quite daunting and terrifying when you look at it from the outside, but if you just do a little bit of research, it's very easy to understand.
I actually got into crypto because I was hosting this show over COVID. I featured Dr. Edward Mueller from Costa Rica, and he, over COVID, had integrated into his university to accept crypto payments. And I featured him and a big thing on the university in regenerative design. And that sparked my interest in the very early on stages of COVID. That's how I got into it.
That's amazing.
I don't think I've actually told anyone that before.
Well,
but it was my own show that got me into it. But I was like, this is very interesting that while everybody's locked down and they don't really have a means, but the crypto is out there in the world. And this one university opened up their doors to say, you can't pay us? Fine, we accept crypto.
So thank you to him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a few years ago. Maybe 3 years ago. But yeah, very interesting. Speaking of art, what's the rarest collection you might have ever seen? And tell us something about your feelings on art and anything super rare.
Wow. So there's a lot of collections that are quite, I wouldn't say necessarily rare because the pieces are, there can be 10,000 of them. But if you think about it, 10,000 pieces that millions of people want is not that much. So, for example, the CryptoPunks. So as part of Arts DAO, we hold a CryptoPunk and a Bored Ape in our treasury. And the beauty of them is that they're part of history in a way.
Yeah.
So the CryptoPunks was one of the kind of first NFT projects that used generative art. And generative art is when the artwork is produced in the moment through an algorithm.
Oh, wow.
Where you have different characteristics and they're all blended into each other. And you create 10,000 unique pieces. No, not one is equal to another. And this is all made through a computer program. And that was the first time when this was done on the second time this was done on the blockchain, and it was a massive breakthrough. So anyone that collects that, in a way, is collecting a piece of NFT culture.
And history, yeah.
And history.
And so it's in the treasury of the DAO.
Yes.
Okay, very interesting.
So we're almost like a museum.
Okay.
So we collect these arts and we just want to keep them for the future.
Okay, amazing. Is there any expansion plans outside of Dubai for Arts DAO?
Absolutely. So in May last year, we started expanding into Lebanon, and now we're doing monthly meetups there.
Oh, nice.
And we also just recently expanded into Saudi. So in January, we had quite a big events in both Riyadh and Jeddah. And Saudi is such a booming market right now. There's so much happening there. So for us, it was really important to enter into that market.
Okay, I hear big things happening with Saudi.
Yes.
Big things. Saudi is up and coming. Everyone, it's on the move. Everyone is talking about it, from arts, from like culture, restaurants. They're doing a ski resort. I mean, you name it. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Ski resort is pretty crazy. Yeah.
I looked at it. I was like, wow, this looks really cool.
Yeah.
Super dope.
You can't make this shit up.
I'm telling you. Super dope. I love it. I love it. Tell us about Arts DAO and Etihad Airways collaboration.
So what Etihad Airways did was they launched an NFT, and initially it wasn't really clear what that NFT would bring you, but now it's become a little bit more clear. So the Etihad Airways NFT gives you certain mileage points, certain benefits as an Etihad member.
Okay.
It gives you automatic kind of tier, I believe a silver tier, and they have different types of tiers on their program. And when we collaborated with them, obviously we have a large community, so we did the marketing collaboration with Etihad to promote that project to our members and to other members as well. And it was a successful project, and they're now kind of building out the infrastructure around it.
Wow, very cool. Love it. Anything else like that that's on the top of your mind that's really relevant to the space right now?
So I see that a lot of big companies like Emirates Airways, a lot of companies are exploring NFTs, and they're looking in different ways to integrate that into their businesses and create kind of loyalty with customers. Because what NFTs does is you give your client a piece of art, and that art can be redeemable for different things, and you can create a community and a club around that, and get people together in a way that prior hasn't been really possible. There has been a lot of clubs, but with NFTs, people come together online and start talking about it, and they trade their NFTs, and it offers a lot of opportunities for big businesses.
Right. Like even this weekend, there's a festival called Elro.
Yeah.
And they dropped an NFT yesterday.
As tickets?
Yeah. Well, anybody who has like the VIP, if you're like a VIP, they sent you NFTs yesterday. So I claim.
That's really cool.
I thought that was cool because I've never seen like a festival do it.
So for example, for the Arts DAO Fest, the after party on the rooftop is exclusive to Arts DAO members and some sponsors.
Okay.
And hopefully that will stimulate some people to join the community and see what it's all about.
Absolutely. The ones that are not already there, they should get on board. Okay, we're here to talk about this festival. Tell us about the festival. Let's dive into it.
Sure.
Arts DAO Festival, March 11th, right around the corner. We've got a few weeks to go. Tell us all about it. Give us the goods.
So what we have seen in the past is that a lot of cool NFT festivals are happening, but not in the Middle East.
Right.
They're happening over in the US with NFT NYC, Art Basel in Miami NFT, South by Southwest, all these like really, really cool and fun and funky events. And what they do well is they really tap into that Web3 internet culture, and they bring together all these profile picture projects with all their monkeys and all the different types of animals. And the fun thing about this is that you can create so much fun content and events around it, but no one has really done that in the UAE.
Yeah, never heard of it before, you guys.
Yeah, so
honestly,
and because we had such a beautiful network, not just in our community but beyond as well, we were like, why don't we do something like that? And this plan has been cooking for more than a year.
And as I understand, it's free.
It's completely free. Anyone can come. It's open to the public. We're expecting somewhere around 3,000 people.
Wow.
So it's going to be a full day event at the 25 Hours Hotel. And the 25 Hours Hotel is probably one of the coolest spots in Dubai because they have this, you enter into the hotel, it almost looks like a metaverse. The ceiling is painted.
Oh, wow.
They have this open courtyard area. We're going to have some food and drink pop-ups.
So cool.
It's going to be really cool, yeah.
What if somebody comes there and wants to get into the after party, and then you're like, you have to be a holder? Could they go on at that moment on OpenSea and purchase?
Absolutely.
To get in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, very.
That's the beauty of with the Web3 space. You can, it's completely decentralized. No one can tell you what you can and cannot do. But you cannot discriminate people. So if you get a token, then basically you get the entry ticket.
Oh, so cool! I love it. So any sponsors you want to talk about, or any names you want to mention about the festival? Let's give them some plugs.
So one of the big sponsors that we have is Ledger.
Okay.
We have a few being finalized literally today, so I can't disclose them.
Okay, sure.
But Ledger is obviously the biggest one. They're a multi-billion-dollar.
You did something with them already.
We did a collaboration with Ledger as well.
Yeah.
We did a limited edition collection of these ledgers. And for those who doesn't know, a ledger is almost like a USB memory stick that you use to save your cryptocurrencies in a very safe way. It's the safest way to hold your cryptocurrencies. You plug it into your computer, and it gives you a wallet address, and you transfer all your cryptocurrencies to that address, and then you store it in a safe.
Okay.
And no one can hack you, no one can access it, no one can touch your funds.
Yeah, your wallet, everything is safe.
Everything's safe. But if you keep it on an exchange, you saw what happened with FTX. They kind of blew up.
Yeah.
That can never happen if you store your crypto yourself. So it's really important to the space that people understand it and can keep control of their funds.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point, and I think that's not something that's talked about enough.
Yeah, no, and we hope to educate people, so they're actually going to have a workshop area where people can learn about this as well.
Okay.
And I think it's really important.
That's cool. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Do you still do the Crypto Shakes podcast?
So actually, I was thinking about it the other day that me and Anas need to get back on the horse.
Okay.
But we've just been really busy.
So busy with the Arts DAO.
Yeah, and we also changed the name to the Arts DAO podcast.
Okay.
But I was just thinking that the Crypto Shakes podcast just sounds more fun.
It was cool. I really liked it. That's how I obviously when I got to know you guys.
Yeah.
It was catchy.
It was, and we might go back. The reason why we didn't want to call it that is we wanted to have a unified brand.
Understand that as well. I totally understand that.
Yeah, but the Crypto Shakes is catchy. It's fun. People remember it.
Okay. Yeah, I remember it. Well, this was really cool chatting with you, Danish. Is there anything you think you want to let our viewers know? Is there any information you want to put out there before we wrap it up?
No, it was lovely speaking to you, Angela. And for anyone that's interested, on the 11th of March at the 25-Hour Hotel in Dubai, we're going to have a full day experience from 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. And from 9 to 2 a.m., we're going to have the after party, which is going to be super, super cool. And I'm welcoming anyone that would love to learn more about NFTs and explore the space.
Very cool. I'll drop it up also on our socials. We can give the link out if people want to sign up for you as well.
Perfect.
Definitely. Well, that was great. Thank you so much, Danish, for coming in.
Thank you so much for hosting me.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that is all the time that we have for today. A big thank you to Danish and the Arts DAO crew for being here on the set with us today. We look forward to seeing more of these guys. And of course, we look forward to the Arts DAO Festival right here on March 11th. For Influential Dubai, right here in the United Arab Emirates, I am Angela Gegg. See you guys next time, same place.